Hello, Ms. Susie Tlacil, who is running for chair of the Cherokee County School Board. I'm Trenton Adams. Welcome to the Cherokee County Republican Party candidate interviews. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your campaign to participate in this interview process. We've extended this invitation to all candidates in this race and sourced questions from the CCRP membership. We have found that it has been an asset for voters in making their decision. The video will appear on the Cherokee County GOP website and will be shared on social media. The interview will be shown unedited in its entirety. For the interview, we will ask you a number of questions but can offer no prompting. There are no right or wrong answers, only your answers. We ask each candidate the same questions. If this is all right with you, I'll have everyone introduce themselves and then I'll ask Larry to begin asking the questions.
Larry Mrozinski.
Harry Abrams.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you see yourself primarily as a representative of the community or as a representative of the school system?
As an elected official in the school board, we have a special role. The state of Georgia has actually defined that, and we represent the students of the county.
What are the duties and responsibilities of a school board member?
School board members, much like the last question, we represent the students, the best interest of the students. The duties would be setting policy, making sure that the administration and staff are following the policies, and choosing the right people to direct the staff, like the superintendent and the employees of that administration.
What additional duties and responsibilities does the chair have?
The chair is largely a mediator. The chair's responsibility is to make sure everybody's agenda items get brought to the table, make sure that if there are any disputes, they get settled per the rules and policies. The chair should also make sure that all the voices are being heard. If there's one member of the board that's not being heard, to identify that and make sure that they get their say.
What experience do you have in running meetings?
I actually, through the last 25 years of working in business and owning my own business, I've had to, I managed people and I managed projects, and in order to do that, you have to call a meeting every now and again, because sometimes you got to put everybody in a room to come to a decision. So the largest part of my experience comes from having complicated technology projects, bringing a lot of different voices to the table, from sales all the way to marketing to the actual engineers that put it together, and come to not just a technical conclusion, but something that the company can sell.
What is the maximum millage rate that can be charged?
I can honestly say I don't remember. It's somewhere around 25 combined mills. There's 2 different millages that we look at in Cherokee County, and I believe it's somewhere around 25.
Are you committed to a yearly survey of families, students, graduates, community residents, faculty, and staff about what they see as major strengths and shortcomings of the district and its schools? And are you committed to publicly sharing the results?
Absolutely. One of the things that interests me most about participating in the school board is we have people that have come to Cherokee County through our rapid growth from districts that are #1 states and #1 counties in the country. We need to pull those resources in and find out how we can use them here in Cherokee County. And also, we need to be our own PR campaign, and we need to share those results as they come in. We need to make sure the community knows how well we're doing.
Are you committed to sharing the major ways you, as a board member, evaluate districts and individual schools' progress each year?
I'm committed in sharing. The school board is, part of their responsibility is making sure the community knows how our school district is faring in the world, how we rate against other schools, how we rate against our own progress. We have yearly reviews, we have yearly progress reports that we have to meet. The superintendent is largely in charge of making sure that those get created and following through on the policies and helping them expand those policies. The school board's responsibility would be to oversee them and make sure they get shared.
What are some of the challenges facing our district now?
One of the largest challenges we have is getting all of those voices together. We have schools of 1,200 students where 10 parents show up. That is a problem. It's partly a PR problem. It's partly any district that has rapid growth problem where we're assimilating people of different cultures, people from different backgrounds. So, yeah, we have to get those voices together.
Do you have any concerns over teacher burnout and the ever-increasing classroom sizes?
Absolutely. The teachers, I have had several conversations with teachers, and it's not just that the class sizes are big, it's that they also don't have the support behind them. For instance, they have to do some amount of cleaning in their own classrooms because our janitors, we've outsourced them, and they used to be part of their family, especially our special needs teachers, because the janitors knew their students and knew how it would disrupt their class. So special needs teachers especially, they need to have the same person coming in their classroom that they can work with, unified. So it's more than just adding more teachers and shrinking class sizes. It's also making sure that teachers have helpers in the classroom when they need to be working with a particular individual student.
What is your plan to support teachers in regards to addressing student behavior and attendance concerns?
Well, attendance, if we can bring the community together, that'll include parents paying attention when their kids show up at school, and neighbors even paying attention. As far as security and safety, there are several opinions on how we can make that happen. One of them, again, is if we have the same people coming into the same school, police officers, for instance, if they're assigned to a school or rotating through a school, but it's their school that they're responsible for, the students begin to learn who they are, and they know they're looking out for them, and if they're having a problem, they're much more likely to come to them if they've nurtured that family environment in the school.
What other ideas do you have to help support teachers?
Teachers right now need resources. One of the things the community can do is we can bring those resources into the classroom from the businesses. And that'll help twofold. That'll help the teachers with attendance. It'll help keep the kids engaged. It'll help businesses want to come to Cherokee County to grow the economy so we can actually get more money through tax base. And it'll also give the teachers resources that they can share inside their classroom based on the experience of that relationship.
What are your ideas to improve communication with parents?
That's a tough one. Parents are, there is a large amount of disenfranchised parents right now. Parents want to feel like they're part of the education process. There are a few things that we do in Cherokee County that engage parents. One of them is we actually do a parent engagement session with the administration every year. The school board needs to make sure that that is being communicated through maybe social media, through Twitter, through an events calendar. The school board needs to reach out to the parents and let them know that happens. I attended that, and I was the only parent there, largely because the meeting wasn't published. So that's the largest part of it. Communicate with the community in various ways.
What would you do to work towards making sure that assessments intended to measure student growth are valid and reliable measures?
Assessments being valid is, I don't want to put any undue pressure on teachers. Teachers should not be assessed from a kid taking a test, because their job is so much more broad than making sure a kid can regurgitate on a test. So that's key with me. But making sure the assessment is proper for the student. It's a complete assessment and not just whether they can you know, read something and then put it down on paper would be my goal in that.
Would you support the use of student growth performance on assessments as a means of determining a teacher's evaluations?
I would support that if there was actually a way to do that in a valid way. So I have had a couple of teacher conversations say if they could do a beginning of the year assessment and an end of the year assessment, and they measure that over a period of time, for instance, where that assessment followed not just the student, but the teacher the student had as well, that might be effective. But again, most of them will tell me that it's largely dependent on the teacher they're assigned, whether they, you know, are teaching the same methods that the teacher learns, and whether or not the teacher has the resources in the classroom. I mean, sometimes the teacher has 35 kids in the classroom. So even an assessment measurement on that would, against that teacher, might be invalid because they didn't have the time to dig into something that a particular individual student was struggling with.
Would you support a system for teacher evaluation in which a certain percentage of teachers have to receive lower performance evaluations as a part of a quota system designed to push out teachers who do not meet the criteria for student performance growth, such as impact? No. I know a lot of businesses use that. In one of the companies I worked for, they did that. They hired the top 10% and fired the bottom 5%. And it creates a really competitive environment, but I'm not sure school is the appropriate place to be competitive at that level.
What measures would you support for teacher pay increases?
I believe we do need to evaluate our teachers. I think that evaluation should come from other teachers and the administration of that local school. It should be, I mean, the way it used to be, the principal would pop in, see if the teacher was doing a good job, you know, make an evaluation. That's how I'm evaluated in the corporate world. My boss pays attention to the work I do and gives me an evaluation. He asks my peers, you know, what to rate me based on my peers, and that's how we get an evaluation. That's by far the better way to determine teacher effectiveness, because students, they don't really have a compelling reason to give a teacher a good assessment.
What measures would you support for teacher pay increases?
I already asked that.
Oh, excuse me. If permitted by state law, how would you feel about teachers carrying concealed weapons?
Teachers are individual citizens just like the rest of society, and they have a Second Amendment right, and they, by the Constitution, should be allowed to exercise that right.
What has been your own experience with the public education system?
I've had both good experience and bad experience in our district and me personally when I was going through school. I have learned that the best way to handle that is on an individual basis. If you have a particular problem with a particular child, it's not necessarily the public school that's bad. It might be just the relationship between the student and that particular teacher at the moment, or particular policies of that particular school. It's very individual. I've been to private schools that weren't, you know, right for my student. I've been to charter school that wasn't, you know, was right and then wasn't right, and I've been to public school that was right and then wasn't right and then was right again. So every student should be looked at individually, and the parents should have that right to make that decision for their child.
What is your opinion on the Common Core State Standards Initiative?
I think our state superintendent told us he was going to work on that, and he's done very little to work on that. I think the milestones were potentially a good shot at it, but still very challenging. It's still too many assessments. It still doesn't measure exactly what we need it to measure. And it eliminates Georgia's ability to add in the material that are pertinent to Georgia students.
What is Article 8 of the Georgia Constitution?
You asked me this question last time and I got it. I don't remember numbers. I'm more of a big picture kind of thing. I'm sure it has to do with how education is run in the state of Georgia, but that's the best answer I can give you on that one. I should have been more prepared.
What plans would you support to further expand school choice and the further development of STEM academies, especially at the high school level?
Being a representative of the public school district here in Cherokee, I would hope that we could make our district the best choice for all of the students in Cherokee County. Because we spend as much money, if not more, per student as many of the private schools. We should be able to be that premier education, and we're pretty close for most of the students. But we are leaving some of them behind. And again, I think it should be the parents' choice if they want to remove them from the district for whatever reason, could be an individual reason. And to expand that, I really agree with the magnet school type of system in a high school environment, because by the age of high school, most students know pretty much what track they're going to be in life. I think it should be very flexible. It should be the students by high school. It should be the students' opportunity and choice where they want to go. Some kids might be brilliant in math but decide that they want to be a farmer, and that should be okay because they're in high school. But I do think we need to get a little bit more specialized in high school, where we can offer custom curriculum for specific types of jobs.
Do you support the continued busing of students to the different Cherokee academies?
I think in order to offer the customized curriculum that we need, because we can't offer it in every single school, we need to be able to bus students. If we didn't do that, we would leave out a large population of Cherokee County that doesn't have the means, the transportation means.
What steps would you take to initiate an online application for the academies, within Cherokee County?
As I understand it, there is already an online application. You can fill it out online and turn it in. But we have a department that is pretty darn good at putting out the communications within the school district. And I would think that we can, if that's an issue, we can actually grow that internally within our department.
As a school board member, who would you seek advice from?
I think it's the school board's responsibility to reach out to every stakeholder, not just, well, I don't want to say just teachers, but teachers, parents, and students. The number one person that can tell you whether a school is good or bad is the student and what policies interest them. As a matter of fact, talking to my own kids, I've learned that there are issues and policies that we probably should be addressing in our school district because the students are talking about them a lot. And we as the adults and the mentors should be driving those policy decisions so the students don't have to wonder or worry about what's going on.
What are your priorities for the district in the coming year?
My biggest priority is getting all of the voices in one room so we can all discuss where we should go in Cherokee County. We need to get business owners, we need to get students, we need to get teachers, we need to get administration, and we need to get a parent engagement at every level.
Are you currently a member of the Cherokee County Republican Party?
Yes, I am.
We would like our elected Republican leaders to help us grow the party. Please briefly describe any significant efforts you have made in the past to support the Republican Party and or Republican candidates locally, statewide, or nationally.
My biggest contribution to the Republican Party is both of my daughters are board members of the Teen Republicans. So we're growing chapter, we're working on getting the younger generation engaged in the party early. I've participated on the outside of campaigns with signs and you know, social media sharing, I've not participated directly in any campaign except my own.
Have you ever been arrested or convicted of a crime excluding traffic offenses?
No.
And have you ever been the subject of professional discipline or cited for breach of ethics or unprofessional conduct by any disciplinary committee, court, administrative agency, or other professional group?
No.
Well, thank you very much. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the viewers?
I just want to make sure everybody knows that it's really important in Cherokee County right now that we together figure out a way that we can continue to grow. The state is going to continue to fight us on QBE funding, and we don't want to take money from other districts. We need to figure out a way inside Cherokee County that we can handle our debt, make sure we maintain our teacher base, grow our teacher base, maybe, you know, work on bringing the janitors back into our family, and again, bring all the voices together because everybody has something valid to share. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.